Here's how we use hypnosis to remove your addictions. There's a 3-step process, and I'll break it down right now. Firstly, what we have to realize is what an addiction actually is. This definition of addiction comes from Paul Chek. An addiction is any pattern or behavior which we repeatedly do, even though it brings about results we do not desire. I've helped hundreds of people get off cigarettes, vapes, methamphetamine, alcohol, and various other emotional addictions, which are super common. This can be porn, anxiety, self-sabotage, depression. When you get down to it, these are all emotions which we have become addicted to. Our brain continues to do these processes, think these thoughts, feel these feelings, even though it is not beneficial to us. It's actually very detrimental for us, but the brain holds onto them for some reason. Now, the reason why, this is the first secret. This is the first secret to getting rid of your addictions. The reason why your brain is holding onto these patterns is because the brain is addicted to surviving, not thriving. The brain is literally a survival and energy conservation machine. Energy in the form of calories and nutrients were incredibly rare in the past. It was incredibly difficult to come by. It took a lot of work to get that energy, so the brain had to become really good at holding on to it. When the brain didn't know where its next meal was going to come from, the brain had to preserve those nutrients as much as it could. And one of the most expensive or costly uses of energy is new thoughts. The most expensive use of our brain's energy is thinking. And so the brain wants to do as little of that as possible. The brain wants to keep things on autopilot. And if you think about it, that's extremely good for us. Imagine if brushing your teeth required learning the process every single time. Then every day when you wake up, you'd be stabbing yourself in the gums. It's because we can form these automatic patterns that we are able to do so much, have so much success, and have evolved as a species. But the brain's learning mechanism was thinking about survival when it built those habits. It wasn't thinking about thriving. So all of the habits you've built, all of the patterns you find yourself repeating are there because your brain built them in so that you could survive. And the brain loves familiarity. The brain knows it's going to survive if it's continuing to do something it's always done. If XYZ pattern or addiction has kept you alive, walk to the left, for this amount of years, then it knows just repeating that is most likely going to continue to keep you alive. So if you have a negative habit or behavior that you are continuing, even though it's not helping you live your best life, it's because the brain thinks it's useful for survival. Smoking, vaping, doing drugs, it meets some kind of need, emotionally or physically. It fills a gap that you have in your life, which the brain feels like it would be incomplete or struggling without. And so what we have to do is not prevent you from meeting that need. We have to get you to meet that need in a way that's beneficial in other ways. So this is secret number 2. Whatever habit or addiction that you're going through right now, it's filling some positive need in your life, but it's just coming with unintended negative consequences. One of the first people I helped get off smoking, he smoked because as he grew up with his father, anytime he had a challenge growing up, or as he became a young adult, anytime he had a challenge in his business, he went out onto the balcony and smoked with his father. Now, him and his father were in 2 totally different countries, but he still carried that same habit of going out onto the balcony and smoking anytime he needed a sense of calm, clarity, or just to clear his mind. But it had that positive effect, but it came with all the negative consequences that smoking does. And so what we need is to find a positive way for you to fulfill the emotional or physical need, to fulfill the loop that your brain has there, just one that comes without all the unintended negative consequences. And that's what we actually do with hypnosis. Now, with hypnosis, the thing is, what's really unique and interesting about your brain and these loops is they don't actually have to make sense. Think about it. It's easier to live a happy life than it is to live a negative one. It's easier to be happy than it is to be depressed, yet why do so many people end up feeling frustrated, unfulfilled, pissed off for the majority of their day? It's just because that's what their brain has learned to do automatically. It's actually easier to have positive patterns than it is to have negative ones. It's easier to work harder than it is to work not at all, because the right kind of work gives you the rewards, the comforts, the joy that makes life so much easier. So what we have to do is change that pattern, change what's going on within this loop. If you like this type of content, make sure that you subscribe on this channel. And if you send me a screenshot that you've subscribed, I'll send you a gift. It's one of the most powerful audios that I have. And it's what I make sure all of my clients who've been suffering with an addiction listen to just absolutely shatter the walls, shatter the loops of their programming that have kept them this way. So back into the video, the second step is making sure that there is a positive fulfillment of the emotional needs which this addiction have been helping you resolve. Now, I use this example all the time. I talk to many different people that get many different feelings out of their addiction. Some people drink to forget about their problems. Some people have no problems. They have no purpose in their life, so they drink to forget the fact that they're wasting away their life. Every external stimulus is just an excuse for us to feel an internal type of way. Some people watch horror movies to get that thrill and that rush and that excitement. Other people like emergency room doctors or ambulance paramedics. They watch a horror movie, they watch a scary movie to actually calm down. The fake horror outside of them helps them desensitize and detach from all of the trauma, all of the incidents that they went into in their real life. So everything outside of you is just an excuse for you to feel a certain way internally, and you don't actually have to feel that way. If something triggers you right now, it's not because it is actually triggering, it is because your subconscious mind is choosing to be triggered by that thing. And so right now, that little voice in the back of your head that tells you to drink, or it tells you to take this substance, or it tells you to keep being insecure, it tells you to have that self-doubt, to not back yourself, it's not real. It's a choice that your brain is making right now. Finally, the third secret is building a future so good that your brain won't let you lose it because of this addiction. What actually happens in hypnosis is we plant the seeds of, and we show you so intensely a positive future that your brain simply cannot let you mess that up, because the brain, it actually responds more powerfully to loss than it does to moving towards pleasure. So when you actually feel the feelings of your future self, when you actually step into your future reality, your best self, then your addiction is no longer just stopping you from moving towards that. Your addiction is literally costing you that reality, because your brain, your mind, your subconscious feels like you're already there. So taking a step away from that, costing yourself that ultimate vision, it's so hard for the brain to do. And that's why you that's why you automatically lose these habits, because your brain doesn't want to lose the dream life that you've created and begun to experience. So the last step is just making sure that you don't have that loop. You don't have that lack of a future that makes this addiction worth it. People don't have anything worth more than their current life. If the brain knows that you don't have anything better to move towards, then it's happy to keep you in all of this negativity because it's not costing the brain anything. The moment we give you the dream life, the moment we get you feeling the feelings that you are already there, it would be so expensive for your brain to mess that up that it simply does not do that anymore. Now, if you want to learn more about how we actually do this instantly, alcohol, coffee, meth, ice, cocaine, all of these, one session, instantly changing the loops that are keeping you in these habits. You already know that you don't want to do this behavior. You already know how much it costs you. You already know, and you've tried and you've been working so hard. I see people that have been going to psychiatrists, psychologists for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. They've tried everything they possibly can. They've been thinking about this over and over and over again, yet they still haven't been able to successfully make the change. It's because you have not yet been shown the right tool. Consciously, you've changed. Consciously, you've made this decision in your mind. You're so set and certain on this decision, but the conscious mind has changed. The subconscious hasn't yet. To learn more, go watch the last video on my channel to have a way more deeper perspective on how hypnosis actually works. Subscribe so that you don't miss any of these videos, and DM me on @SummitHypnosis to learn how we can apply this for you to change your life in an instant.